like you to take a hard look at the war on drugs. I took a hard look at the war on drugs, and I came up with the conclusion that 90% of the drug problem is prohibition-related, not use-related, and that is not to discount the problems with use abuse. But we're arresting 1.8 million people a year in this country. I always say that's the population of New Mexico every single year. Half of what we spend on law enforcement, half of what we spend on the courts, and half of what we spend on the prisons. $70 billion a year is drug-related. Understand that violence, that crime is prohibition-related, not use-related. I came to the conclusion that marijuana should be legal, and legalizing marijuana, control it, regulate it, tax it. It'll never be legal to smoke pot, become impaired, get behind the wheel of a car. It'll never be legal to smoke pot, become impaired, do harm to others, never be legal for kids to smoke pot. Just like alcohol, I don't know why we can't make the same correlation between the prohibition of alcohol and drugs today. And with regard to all the other drugs that we adopt harm reduction strategies, which is reducing death, disease, crime, corruption. Do me a favor, look at this issue, get online, please. Fast forward, I got out of office January 1 of 2003. I was term limited. I believe in term limits. I believe that as a result of term limits, politicians do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do. About 11 months ago, I found myself outraged over what's happening in this country. And the outrage is that we are bankrupt. We're bankrupt in this country. 43 cents out of every dollar that we're currently spending is borrowed. This is insanity. Medicaid, Medicare need to be slashed. There's a finite amount of money that we can spend on these areas, and we need to be dedicated to spending within our means. Social Security, well look, we've got to raise the age of eligibility for Social Security just for starters. We can't hand our kids a debt to pay for our health care and our retirement. The notion that we're going to give this debt over to our kids is absolutely false. It's here, it's now, and it has to be addressed, and it's not being addressed. Promises that were made by politicians that should have never been made. Healthcare, I really thought that healthcare was going to be about lowering prices, and to me to lower prices when it comes to healthcare is to bring about free market reforms when it comes to healthcare, blowing the lid off of supply. And to all those veterans out there, thank you. Thank you for your service to this country. My dad, who is 91 years old, was a paratrooper with the 101st Airborne Division. He's still alive. Paratrooper with the 101st Airborne, landed in Normandy 2 days before D-Day with the 101st, and my father ended up losing a lung at the Battle of the Bulge. These are commitments made that all of us have an obligation, all of us as citizens have an obligation to use. So this country has an obligation constitutionally to provide for a strong national defense. It's one of the primary responsibilities of government. But I would argue that our national defense is not being threatened in either Iraq or Afghanistan. 43 cents out of every dollar that we're currently spending is borrowed. We're building roads, schools, bridges, and hospitals in Iraq and Afghanistan. Don't we have those same needs here today? I think that our military is spread way too thin, and at the end of the day, we're going to spend a whole lot more money in both of these areas, and the greatest tragedy of all, that a whole lot more men and service women will lose their lives. Look, this country has big problems. They've got to be addressed. There's you, there's me. We can make a difference, and I say we, you all are making a difference. Tea Party, you rock. Thank you from me very, very much. Thank you.